Salaki, I stopped the video by mistake, so let's go back to verse 17. And he said, I saw, O Israel, scattered upon the hills, as sheep that had not a shepherd. And the Lord said, these had no master. Let them return every man to his house in peace. So ultimately what he's saying is this. Hold on. Let's start verse 15 again. So he came to the king and the king said unto him, My God, shall we go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall we forbear? And he answered him, Go and prosper, for the Lord shall deliver it into the hand of the king. And he said unto him, How many times shall I adjure thee that thou tell me nothing, but that which is true in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahshua? And he said, I saw all Israel scattered upon the hills as sheep that had not a shepherd. And the Lord said, These have no master, let them return every man to his house in peace. So that sheep, those sheep that had no shepherd, those sheep is talking about like his army. The shepherd is talking about who? A shepherd is a leader, the one that's in charge. So the shepherd obviously has to represent the king. So he's saying the king has his army, but they're scattered upon the hills, therefore implying that he would lose in battle. Okay, he would lose his battle, and his men will be scattered. Now, if you read the 15th verse, my God told him go to the fight. He gonna prosper. So you may say, wait a minute, why would the 15th verse you say go prosper? You go and fight because you're gonna prosper, but then the 17th verse say that he's gonna die and that he's gonna lose his battle. But he just said in the 15th verse he's gonna go and prosper. Because what he's doing is he's making mockery of those other prophets, those false prophets. He's making mockery of them. It's like if a person it's like if a bunch of people are flattering a person, and then they go to you to try to get the truth from you, and you say, "Hey, man, just go ahead and do it," because that's what the other people are saying. You know what? Just go ahead and do it. That's what you want to do. Go ahead and do it. And then you go and tell a person. That's why Ahab said in the 16th verse, "How many times shall I adjure thee, that thou tell me nothing but that which is true in the name of the Lord?" I mean, many times must I request that you tell me the truth? Be honest. Tell me the truth. Because he knew he was making mockery of those false prophets. That's why he said that. He knew it. So he said, listen, man, how much time must I adjure your request that you telling me the truth? That you swear unto me, or you promise to me that you telling me the truth? And then my God just came straight with it. He said, listen, man, I saw all Israel scattered upon the hills as a sheep that had not a shepherd. And the Lord said, These have no master, let them return every man to his house in peace. So ultimately telling you, Israel going to be scattered. And that's what happens if your leader is smitten, people will scatter. So you know, Ahab is the king of Israel. So not only is his army going to be scattered, but also, you know, his people. They're going to be in a state where they don't have a leader, a state where they're vulnerable. Let me get a quick scripture. Numbers 27:17, right to the point, which may go out before them, which may go in before them. Let's start from verse 16. Let the Lord let Yahweh Shem Shah, the power of the spirits of all flesh, set a man over the congregation, which may go out before them, which may go in before them, and which may lead them out, and which may bring them in, that the congregation of the Lord be not as sheep which had no shepherd. See, so if the congregation is the shepherd, then the leader is the sheep. So now we know what we got an idea what that's talking about. So now we know you got an example what that's talking about in First Kings. All right. Where we at? All right. And he said, I saw Israel scattered upon the hills as sheep that had not a shepherd. And Yahweh Shemashah said, These have no master, let them return every man to his house in peace. So after the war's over, everybody will be able to return home in peace. Or they're from the enemy. And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, Did I not tell thee that he would prophesy no good concerning me but evil? So Ahab knew what he meant. And he said, Hear thou therefore the word of Yahweh Shemashah. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left. And Yahweh Shemashah said, Who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall like Ramoth Gilead? And one said on this man, and another said on that man. And so it was a council of angels, some saying this, some saying that. When the Most High asked them, Who's going to be a lying spirit who's going to be a lying spirit in the mouth of Ahab's prophets to deceive him, that he may go to Ramoth Gilead to fight and die? Who's going to deceive him, make him think he's going to win? He's going to end up dying. He's actually going to die. And then came forth the spirit and stood before Yahweh Shemashah and said, I will persuade him. And Yahweh Shemashah said unto him, Wherewith? He said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit. See, it says lion spirit right there. That's the verse that says it. Lion spirit in all the mouth of of all his prophets. And he said, thou shalt persuade him and prevail also. Go forth and do it. You're gonna persuade him and you're gonna prevail. Go and do that. And therefore, behold, the Lord Yahweh Shemashah has put a lion spirit in the mouth of all these thy prophets. And Yahweh Shemashah has spoken evil concerning thee. See, the Most High spoke evil concerning him, man. But Zedekiah the son of Chetna'anah went near and smote Micaiah on the cheek. So he smacked him or punched him in his face. Which way went the spirit of Yahweh Shemashah from me to speak unto thee? So he's saying, did the spirit of the Lord, he's saying, when did the spirit of the Lord come from me and get upon you? When did the spirit, you know what I'm saying? In other words, it's like he's saying, who died and made you a prophet, so to speak. In other words, since when did the spirit of the Lord leave me and jump upon you? Who made you a mouthpiece of the Lord? And he's a false prophet, Zedekiah. And he smote a true prophet. And this is a sign of what happens when a person takes heed to false counsel. When a person who's a leader takes heed to false counsel to flatter their own ego, to flatter their own desires, it leads to destruction. It leads to ruin. And Micaiah said, behold, thou shalt see in that day when thou shalt go in the chamber to hide thyself. You're going to see when that day comes. When that day comes, you're going to go into an inner chamber and you're going to hide yourself. Because why? They're going to lose that battle. And you're going to go and hide for your life. You're going to go and hide for your life because you're in fear of your life. And the king of Israel said, first let me get to some scriptures. Isaiah 45:7. I form the light and create evil and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, Yahweh Shemashah, do all these things. So the Most High forms the light, creates darkness. He makes peace and he creates evil. He does all these things. He controls all these things. The right hand side and the left. Psalms 103:20. Bless Yahweh Shemashah, meaning when I say the right hand side, the left, meaning good and evil. So when the Most High had that spirit going to be a lying spirit, that's something that the Most High allowed to happen. He controlled that. Had he not wanted it to happen, he would have prevented it. So the Most High wanted the king to be deceived. He allowed the lying spirit, the spirit of deception, to befall his prophets, to mislead him into thinking he's going to win the battle. Because why? The Most High knows your spirit. The Most High knows that Ahab want to be told flattering words. He knows that. That's why he hates a true prophet, Micaiah. The Most High said, you know what? Since he's so prideful, since he want to be flattered words, I'm going to send a lying spirit into his prophets to flatter him so that he can go down there thinking he'll win that battle, thinking that they're actually speaking to him through a righteous spirit, and he gonna go out there and die. I want him to think that he's being told was right. Bless Yahweh Shemashah, ye his angels, that excel in strength, that do his commandments, hearkening unto the voice of his word. So the angels, they hearken to his commandments. They do what he say do. They ain't going around doing their own thing. So the Most High said, do that, and they did it. Spirit did it. The lion spirit. I know I'm going through this kind of fast because there's still a couple more verses I got to read in Kings. Job 1:6. That there was a day when the sons of the Most High came to present themselves before Yahweh Shemashah, and Satan came also among them. See? So Satan is a son of the Most High, a spirit created by the Most High. Satan means